All right, everyone, welcome back to the BGC episode DOS.
Dos.
Bilingual.
Shall we have the jingle?
Go on then.
Hit it. Two friends. Hi, I'm Laura.
Hi, I'm Vick.
Talking all things LGBTQIA+, from coming out,
Staying out,
and everything in between. Long-term relationships,
dating disasters,
and quite possibly the most unreasonable icks.
The BGC Podcast. Okay, so this episode is going to be our coming out stories.
Deep.
I'm coming out. Oh, God, why do I make everything into a song, honestly?
Well, that's the name of the podcast. Well, it's the title of the podcast.
Yeah,
I'm coming out.
I can't
so,
help myself. She's
you know.
slave to the rhythm. Our coming out stories.
Yeah.
It will be a deep one.
It will be.
In places, I think. I know for one, I'm really lucky with coming out and the support I had, and yeah, okay, I lost people along the way, but they obviously weren't that important to me.
That's the thing, isn't it? If people can't accept you for who you are they really worth having in your life?
Exactly that. And I think what was easier for me as well is I have a twin who is also gay, and she came out before me, a few years before me, so she sort of like paved the way, if you like.
Yeah.
But I know we mentioned in the last episode with your partner coming out, there's a lot of pressure and you always think worst case scenario, and that really, I think that hits home with a lot of people.
100%.
I know I did, especially even after my sister coming out. I was thinking, oh well, I'm the only one left to have kids and get married to a guy, so that's on me.
A bit of pressure there, wasn't it?
Yeah, and what a ridiculous, like looking back, what a ridiculous thought to have. I think probably the main problem I faced was because of the way I came out.
Right. I feel like this is a story.
Yeah. It was my nan, especially. Now my nan is my best friend. My nan. I absolutely worship the ground that she walks on. Always have. I think that's a nice standard relationship for a grandparent. And she really has been there, along with my mum, my whole life. Like the two of them are staple people in my life, and they have shaped me into the absolute delight I am today. So you owe it to them. You're very welcome. Yeah. And
thanks, Nan.
I think I should probably start with how I did it.
Okay.
And then, so it was when we were at Butlins.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Because I remember you saying in the first episode when you were at Butlins, you weren't out.
Yeah. I wasn't out. And then I very much got into a relationship with my first proper girlfriend. I'd had a girlfriend before, but my first one, very turbulent, very up and down.
You're just sort of like understanding who you are at that point.
Exactly that, finding yourself, and so you can't really class that as a relationship, but it was a thing nonetheless. So I got into my first proper relationship in Butlins, and I had been with this person nearly a year before
Was it really that long?
Before I came out to my nan, yeah.
Wow.
I came out to my mum, I think a year before, or potentially, it was before I was a red, so over a year before that, I sort of had the conversation, and I was a bit like, listen, I think I'm gay.
Yeah.
Which obviously she was great with, and she has been continuously supportive of me and the people that are in my life romantically and whatever. That was a bit cringe, that, wasn't it? I'm fine with it. We're moving on. But yeah, so coming out to my nan made me really nervous. I think because I'd built it up so much in my head.
Yeah.
And my girlfriend at the time had such, I'm not going to call it horrible, but it wasn't a great coming out.
Right, okay.
I know she really struggled, especially with her mum. And even though my mum was fine, and I knew deep down my nan would be, you have that fear, don't you? You have that constant worry.
You also worry as well, don't you, with the older generations, because of when they grew up,
Mm.
obviously, for the older grandparents out there, being gay was actually illegal.
Mm-hmm.
So you do. I know I had the same worry with my granddad when I came out.
Yeah.
You just scare yourself, don't you?
100%. And again, you know, hindsight's a brilliant thing and all that. But at the time, and I was so young as well, I was just so caught up in, you know, catastrophizing it that I made it a thing before it even was. So I decided that I was going to get absolutely obliterated.
Why am I not surprised?
Yeah, I thought this is great. This will ease it. And I text her.
Right, okay.
I text her saying, so and so is actually my girlfriend, and I am actually gay. Words to that effect. And my nan, you know, then messaged back saying that she was really hurt.
Right.
That I couldn't just tell her. That I couldn't just sit down and say, oh, Nan, by the way, blah, blah, blah is my girlfriend. We love each other. We plan to be together for however long. Obviously, then it's forever, isn't it?
Yeah.
As it always is, even if you've known each other for 5 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
All the lesbians
married
know.
like 2 days into the relationship.
Yeah. So, you know, and that really made our relationship very bumpy because it wasn't the fact that I was coming out, it was how I came out.
Yeah.
And it took a while for us to get back to where we were, but once we were there, we then even grew closer. I would say, you know, it made me understand that I can communicate with my nan, and even though she may not understand necessarily what it is that I'm trying to communicate or what it is that I'm feeling or whatever, she will do her best. And that's all you can really ask of anyone.
How did your family react to having you and your sister, your twin sister as well?
I
both
know.
being gay?
Yeah,
Because
I mean,
like me being a gay person, even I would be a bit like, whoa,
yeah,
how, and sort of thing.
yeah. I guess obviously, you know, everyone goes, "Oh, you're both gay." Well, two gay, and you're like, "Yeah, crazy, right? Yeah, mad. What are the odds?" But yeah, I mean, fine. You know, I've been out for years. My sister's been out for years, and I think at first, because I'm not, I'm not your or especially wasn't then your stereotypical gay. You know, long hair, makeup. I wore dresses then.
Oh my God, you did.
You know, still very much trying to find where I sat in, not society, but life.
Yeah,
you know, trying to find me, what I'm comfortable with, what's my style, you know, that kind of thing. And so yeah, I very much wasn't your stereotypical gay. So, you know, I'm sure the word phase was like thrown around quite a lot. But you know, we're now over 10 years, very much not a phase, very much, you know, comfortable with my sexuality, and everyone around me has come to see, okay, yeah, she's a leser. she's yeah. So, you know, people will have, you know, I personally think I scream homosexual,
right,
personally, but that's because I know who I am.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'll have a conversation with people, you know, at work. I started a new job, I would say recently, within the last year. And you're still getting to know people within the department and stuff like that. And, you know, they say, oh, you know, husband, kids, absolutely not to either. Do you know what I mean? And they go, are you a lesbian? I actually prefer the term gay, but yes. I am. And some people are really shocked, and that shocks me. But again, they don't, you know
That's
me.
the thing. Whereas I know you, and I've only ever known you as gay. I don't remember when we first met. I just assumed you were.
Yeah.
Maybe it was my gaydar. I don't know.
Yeah, you do have a good gaydar.
Yeah,
Mine's
but I
shocking.
didn't know that you had not come out.
Yeah, no.
So yeah, I did. To me, you're gay, and you always have been.
And that's very much. I mean, I know I always have been since a very young age.
Yeah,
there was no question. you know, I went through a time where I didn't necessarily want to be gay. And
I think we probably, I certainly went through that.
yeah,
And I'm sure quite a few of our listeners
yeah,
have gone through that same stage of being like, I don't want to be this. I don't
yeah.
want to. And you try to fight it, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, it's who you are. So
Yeah, and
embrace it.
yeah, absolutely. And who you are will win.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, definitely.
and everyone, like you say, you know, the people that can relate, and you will have tried to fight it, and you will have done everything that society tells you should do as the gender that you should be. And you just know when that's not right for you, you know. And like I say, like from a young age, like I used to have like crushes on my English teacher, like yeah, and I used to be like, this is normal. It's just because she's a good teacher. You know, she's just really good at teaching me
It must be
about
something about
punctuality.
English teachers, because I fancy mine.
Honestly,
Yeah.
there has been so many, and I think I might take up English and I might teach it because I need to get involved in this circle.
Yeah.
Honestly,
It's a good looking circle.
yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, but yeah, English teachers got it going on.
If there are any English teachers out there currently looking for a significant other, Vicky is available.
Yeah, I think I would 100% be down for that. But yeah, you know, the whole how you should be and whatever definitely takes, and I really respect the generation that we're going into, because they're kind of going like, well, actually, up yours, I am who I am, and I embrace that, and I really want there to be a time where that coming out won't be a thing. They'll be like, what do you mean by coming out? It will just be like, oh, this is my girlfriend, or this is my boyfriend, or this is my partner, you know, and it will just be a completely normal,
What is normal?
right, exactly. It's not a great word, but you know what I mean. It'll be natural.
Second nature.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely.
Yeah.
Was there anyone in your family that didn't accept you the way that you wanted to be accepted, or did it take them time to get used to the idea of?
Yeah, there was, you know, again, I think I didn't really help myself, so I didn't come out to everyone after coming out to my nan.
Okay.
So I still I have really complicated. She is a cousin, but I call her my big sister. She helped raise me pretty much. I didn't come out to her. I got outed by accident at my 21st birthday party.
Wow.
Yeah. And, you know, she messaged me and she was really upset again because she felt like, why couldn't you come to me? And that's, you know, again, hindsight, I could have. I was young. It was new to me. It was my first proper relationship. And, you know that my partner was still kind of struggling with her family at the time, and the whole sort of her being in a relationship with another woman and stuff. So looking back, yes, I should have just come out. But at the time, I felt like I was doing what was best for me. And, you know, obviously, you know, I've grown a lot since then, like literally, and, you know, maturity-ish and stuff. So yeah, you know, I would say for me, I was my own worst enemy in that.
Yeah.
I catastrophized it and made it something that it didn't need to be. I think, you know, that's going to happen, isn't it? It's more of a natural. You're naturally, for me, you're going to think, oh, but what if?
Oh, I think most people definitely dwell on the what if.
Yeah.
But really, we need to forget about the what ifs and just like live the now.
Yes.
And deal with it later.
100%. Definitely like take charge of your life.
Yeah, definitely.
And I feel like the sooner you do that, I feel like the more you grow into it, the more comfortable you are further down.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And it helps you grow as a person, doesn't it?
I agree. And I know that for your coming out, you had some issues.
Yeah, it was a difficult one for me.
Mm.
So, like I said, I when I first started at Butlins, I wasn't out,
Mm.
and I was 23 when I started at Butlins. So I seem to think I'm a bit of an older person coming out.
Mm.
And I've always known that I was gay, but I tried to suppress it. Like, I've had boyfriends in the past, I've had relatively long relationships with guys in the past, but I wouldn't change that for the world, because it actually helped me realize who I was. And that's nothing against the guys I was with, they just weren't for me.
Because penis.
Well, yeah, they had a big schlong. So yeah, I started Butlins, and I was straight at Butlins when I first started, and it wasn't until my second year when a lesbian actually started, and I I instantly clicked with her, like on a friendship level. We were never like anything more than friends, but I just felt so comfortable around her, and so like, I can be me around you, and I can like sort of like make jokes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, do you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to be who I am. And I came out to, it's going to sound really gay, but to my family at Butlins, to my friends there, and they instantly just accepted me for who I was. Instantly. And that was really comforting to know that I was accepted for who they thought I was, but also who I truly was and am. Family was a different matter. I'm an only child. So unfortunately, I didn't have a sister that could pave the way for me.
Do you know what? You give off, and I know I've said it before, and I'm sure like people will get it as the episodes go on, but you are the least like only sibling, like only child there is. That makes sense? Like, you give off like you should have a sibling.
No, I don't.
Like, it's just mad. Like, I've met only children, no offense, but I've met people that are like the only child, and it shows. Do you know what I mean? Whereas you like just don't.
Do you know what? I really appreciate that,
Yeah,
because
you
I
should.
hate the stigma of only children, because we're not all the same.
No.
We're not all
Living
the same.
proof.
Yeah.
Living proof. I just had to put that out, because
Oh,
I
okay.
really want people to see that as this goes, because honest, it's a flex. It's a flex.
Nice. So yeah, so I didn't have a sister to pave the way for me, you know, to touch the water. So the first person I actually came out to was my auntie.
Okay.
And I have got the world's tiniest family. Literally, I could count them all on one hand. That is my family. And my auntie, not only is she my auntie, she's one of my best friends. Like, I could tell her anything.
That's sweet.
And I said to her, look, I'm gay, and she just instantly accepted me for who I was, because she loves me.
Yeah.
And she was like, I'm not surprised. She said, but I'm so happy that you have finally found who you truly are.
That's so nice.
And she's just she has been my support since day one, and she still continues to be my support.
Yeah.
My mum, absolutely fine with it.
Yeah.
She was like, if you're happy, I'm happy. That's the main thing. My dad, well, I remember when I told my dad, so this is a story, and my dad probably won't listen to this, but if he does, Dad, this is how you made me feel. I remember going to see my dad, and I was currently sort of seeing someone at this point. I was just like finding my feet and stuff. And I said, Dad, I want, got something to tell you. And he was like, oh, right, okay. And I said, I'm with a woman, or I'm exploring being with a woman. And he turned around to me, and I'll never forget this. And he said, I think I prefer it if you turn around and tell me you're pregnant. And that just hit me. It was horrible to hear, because it's almost as if if it makes it sound like a bad thing, but if I was to get accidentally pregnant, he'd be happy to deal with that more than me being with someone that I truly feel like I could be with.
Yeah.
And it took time. I remember when I first got with my current partner now, my dad said, I don't want to meet her. I never want to meet her. Whereas now he sends her his love. He's constantly asking how she is. And he is so much more open now, but he just needed that time to process it. Because
Yeah.
I'm not, you know, as natural as it feels to me, it's not going to be natural for a parent to find out that their daughter or their son is not going to have the life that they planned for them.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
And I feel it's really important that isn't a you issue.
No,
like,
and I've come to be like, it's not a me issue. It's a your issue. You deal with that issue.
You expected a certain life for me.
Yeah.
That's not for me to fulfill, actually.
No.
That's, I will live my life how I want to live it, and how, you know, my path is set out, for the want of a better phrase, and that's the path I'm going to go down.
Yeah.
If you're not comfortable with that path, that's an in-house issue that you need to deal with.
100%. And I know with my partner, obviously I'm not going to go into too much detail because it's their story to tell, but her coming out was not an easy ride. It's taken time, but they have finally accepted it. But that's a whole different story, and like I said, it's not my story to tell. So I think where it's difficult, isn't it? But do you know the one person that I was really scared of telling, that I thought would instantly just hate it, that accepted me straight away for who I was, and it was my granddad.
Oh, that's nice.
My granddad.
Yeah.
And at the time, he was mid to late 80s.
Okay.
So he was an older granddad.
Yeah.
That you would just think, because of growing up in the time where it was unheard of, basically, he would instantly hate it. But I was amazed with how accepting he was.
Yeah.
And he would constantly, my granddad's no longer with us, unfortunately, but he would constantly ask how my partner is, asking when we're going to get married. He was just a gem.
Yeah.
And out of my nan wouldn't have accepted it. But who knows?
Yeah.
She's not here.
Yeah.
She never knew. Maybe she does know in some ether, but I would have thought that, no, my nan definitely wouldn't have accepted it. Definitely not. But you don't know until you tell them, until you be your true self.
Yeah.
That sounds so cheesy, but you know what I mean.
But you know, it is exactly how you say it.
Yeah. So it's been a tough ride, but 14 years later, I'm the happiest I've ever been. My family accept me.
Yeah. And how would you say your relationship then developed with your dad? Like,
it's taken its time. Like, my mum and dad divorced when I was young, when I was about 5, 6. So I've always lived with my mum, and I only saw my dad once a week. So my relationship with my dad is not as strong as what it is with my mum, but that's, you know, it's how it's going to be if I'm only seeing him once a week. And it did, for him to react the way that he did I can't think of the best way to put it. I sort of steered clear of him for a bit.
Self-preservation.
Yeah. And I didn't want to. I mean, I'm not the sort of person to, you know, flaunt it in your face that I'm gay, sort of thing. I know I look it, but I'm not like, you know, I'm gay, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to push it with him. And it was a very slow build up to be how we are again today, which it really is only recently. I'd probably say in the past 5 years, really,
Mm.
which, thinking about it, is actually quite a short amount of time
Mm-hmm.
ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're good. We're good now. It's just taking time. But
Yeah.
you need to give your parents time. If they don't accept it, then just give them time, and they will eventually come round.
I think that also helps both sides as well. Time that, for me, I built it up.
Yeah.
I did feel like I had to sort of, gear myself up for it and stuff. And then I feel like doing it, okay, I didn't do it in a great way, but, if I had delivered it in a way, that would have been great for everyone, I feel like taking time after that to just sort of digest that big step, because it is big. Again, especially back then. And I think obviously giving that person then time to process and understand and stuff. I feel like time after a big step for both parties is a really good thing. You just
Yeah,
think
definitely.
about it and you process and take a breath, really, because
Mhm.
there can be quite a lot of pressure, especially if you put pressure on yourself. And it's really important to just have that space. And then, when it feels at a good time, come together and then have a conversation. And I feel like if you have that conversation with them, it just normalizes it a bit more,
Yeah, definitely.
And I know me and my nan, after that whole thing, we did sit down and, we had a cry, and my nan was just hurt that I, again, just couldn't come out and
Yeah,
say it like my
yeah.
sister did. My sister she came in, she'd been out somewhere. She came in and sat on the sofa next to my nan. My nan was watching her soap. She loves a soap.
Who doesn't?
Who doesn't? And during the adverts, because I only talk to my nan during the adverts, she's a stickler. Don't interrupt the episode.
Yeah,
Don't do that.
100%.
Don't do that. And my sister just
Totally
said, Nan,
with her on that.
yeah, yeah. She said, Nan, I've got to tell you something. And my nan was like, all right, what is it? She was like, I'm gay. And my nan went, well, we all knew that, Catherine. But she, again, I mean, I know it's a bit different. She is your very stereotypical lesbian. That's what the older generation are used to, seeing that and, linking that to being gay or lesbian or however you present.
Yeah.
So, I think that did help. But yeah, having those conversations after, I think, is really, you have that initial coming out, and then having a conversation after to sort of be like, listen, I'm still me, still the person you raised, I'm still your daughter, granddaughter.
Yeah.
And, I just,
It's almost like you're letting them know you didn't do anything wrong.
yeah,
It's not a bad thing.
no,
It's nothing against you.
yeah,
It's just who I am.
exactly that.
Because I think, I mean, obviously I don't know, but maybe some parents blame themselves, but it's nothing to blame yourself for. Because there is such a taboo about being gay or lesbian or trans, you're instantly going to think as a parent, well, what did I do wrong? But you didn't do anything wrong.
No,
It was nothing. It was totally out of your control. Your child is who they are because of who they are,
yeah,
because of their genetic makeup. It's not, they're not influenced by, and I hate the fact that people think, oh, you're only gay because you see it on the TV and shit like that. It's like, no, like I knew from a very young age that I was gay. Like I would probably say 5, 6 years old. Like I've always known.
yeah,
And it's not just because it was on the TV.
no. Like, I don't remember watching an episode of Teletubbies that involved two lesbians. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't recall that. I'm sure I would have loved it, but I don't recall that.
No.
It wasn't something that was on the TV when we were growing up.
Yeah,
it was,
no.
and if it was like one thing that was way too old for us to watch.
Well, yeah.
So yeah, I think it's, people like to find a reason.
Yeah, where there is no reason apart from it is who you are.
Yeah.
It is who you are.
Yeah.
Just one thing that I remembered when obviously I came out to my family and I was with my current partner at the time, and we actually got engaged about a year and a half after we started seeing each other. It was about a year, actually. I
Was
think.
it?
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
A year?
It was only a year.
Oh, I thought you did the standard lesbian and it's like 3 months.
No. It was a year. God, well,
Oh.
just under a year, because
I feel like the time's getting less and less. Was it actually 3 months?
no. It was a year. Well, our relation. So our anniversary is the 10th of February,
Yeah.
and then I proposed on the 3rd of February, 2013. So
Okay.
just under a year.
Yeah.
I was going to do it on our anniversary, but that could be a whole nother story.
Ooh.
But yes, I'd come out to my family, but I still couldn't tell them that I was engaged. And I told my auntie I was engaged. I told my mum I was engaged, but my dad was the hurdle. And I remember I was just sat here with my other half, and I was like, I'm going to text my family, and I text them a massive long text. I can't remember it word for word, but my auntie still remembers it to this day. And I text my whole family saying, I feel like I can't tell you my good news, but I'm engaged, blah, 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 blah. And I actually text them to let them know I was engaged. I couldn't tell them, which is weird because I'd already had that initial coming out.
Yeah.
But then there was this whole new thing of, oh my God, if I'm engaged, he knows this is definite. How is he going to react? It's not just a phase anymore.
Yeah.
So I had to, I told them via text.
I mean, yeah. Again, we all do things that we feel are best for us at the time. And I think given how your dad reacted to you coming out, you are obviously going to have those, concerns, and you're going to do what you feel is going to hurt you less because he'd already hurt you, that you don't want to feel that again. And I get that. I get that. And for me, I went the opposite. I didn't rub it in their face, but I didn't hide it.
Yeah.
I was like, no, I'm in a relationship with a woman who I plan to be with for a very long time. And, it came to planning the proposal and the engagement. And I didn't hide from it. I sat them down and I said, I'm going to propose to her. And, I obviously want you all to be involved. This is what I'm thinking of doing. And just made it like a normal, as it is, conversation, and not a, oh, yeah, vagina, lesbian, yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like that, my nan has taken a few years to come around and it just be not a thing anymore.
Yeah.
Like, not a thing. And it's just a completely, I really hate the word, but I keep using it, normal conversation. And, she asked, like, my sister's girlfriend, she asked, oh, how is she? And blah, 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 and completely fine. Like, it was never an issue. And it wasn't, or obviously how I came out. There are obviously some bumps given her generation and stuff, but
how do you find, because I know that obviously when you start a new job, it's always difficult, isn't it? Like, because I'm like you, I think I scream gay because of my short hair, and that's and it shouldn't be like that just because I got short hair.
No, you're right.
It shouldn't be like
no,
that.
you're right.
But yeah, okay, I'm gay and I've got short hair. But whenever I start a new job, I always find it very difficult on how, obviously, you talk, and I must admit, when starting previous jobs, I've actually hid who I am.
Okay.
And not been able to freely say my girlfriend.
Okay.
Have you ever had that issue?
Luckily, no.
No.
I haven't. Since coming out to everyone in my family, I have just said it, and I've taken, I've lost friends from coming out. Not many, but there obviously weren't very good friends to me. If
Yeah.
that's the reason you wanna walk away, then fine. I have friends that will accept me and love me for who I am and help me, find myself within that. I've just taken very much that approach with everything. I'm gonna tell you if you ask. Again, I don't wear it like a badge. I will tell you if you ask, and if you have an issue with it, well, that's a you problem.
Yeah.
Like I've really taken on that. Okay, well, you have an issue with how I am. That's not really for me to help you with. Like, I'll have a conversation with you if you've got questions. I work with a guy from a different culture. He's religious, and he had all these questions, and I was here for it because I was like, he doesn't have gay people in his community.
I'm sure he does.
Well, yes, he doesn't
that's
have
a whole nother story.
Yes. He doesn't have openly gay people in his community. He doesn't know many people within our community. So, and I was really here for all the questions and stuff, and I'm not easily offended. And I know most people that I know don't purposefully say malicious or hurtful things. There will be, absolutely, strangers, homophobes, absolutely. But for people that are genuinely curious, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt because they don't know what it is they're asking, what it is they actually want to know, because they've got no clue.
No.
So I think, a bit of patience
100%
has really helped with.
It's all about the learning curve as well, isn't it? To, as an openly gay people who, if anyone asks me questions within reason, obviously, I'm happy to answer them.
Absolutely.
Because I believe, like, if you won't better yourself or learn for yourself if you just don't ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions.
And also set a boundary.
Yeah.
Like, again, you don't just because like you're the first gay person or openly gay person they've met doesn't mean you need to, one, know all the answers, or two, want to answer them. Absolutely set boundaries. And I really feel like boundary with anything is so important, especially if it's all new to you. But you've said you've sort of hidden who you are.
Yeah, in my early years, my last couple of jobs, I've openly hid it from day one. Like, the talk about my partner, and then they say, "Oh, he," and I go, "No, she." It's like I actually had a meeting with a client the other day. First time I met him, and we were just talking, and I just came out and was like talking about her and she, and it was fine.
Yeah,
it was fine. I mean, I think because of the person he was, he's a very open person. But I've decided, I'm not going to hide who I am. Just to make you feel comfortable. Obviously, I'm not going to ram it down your throat, but there has been times where I've had to hide who I am.
Can I ask in what sort of environment I know you said it was like a professional working environment, but can I ask what kind of people were there?
So obviously within Butlins, I was perfectly fine with being completely who I am. And then when I left Butlins, I actually moved into recruitment, which was very male heavy. And I find guys like to make a lot of jokes. And I don't think I was that comfortable to put up with the jokes, if you know what I mean. But yeah, there were quite a lot of women within that working environment too, who I actually felt comfortable talking to. When I left there, I went into another job which was very male heavy. I was like a delivery driver, and I actually found it a lot easier to come out within that one because they were a lot less corporate.
Okay, yes.
They were like normal people. Whereas people that work in businesses aren't normal people. And then my most recent job that I was in, that job, I felt completely comfortable from day one that I could be who I am.
Okay.
But I think it was just the initial leaving the Butlins bubble. For anyone that's worked in Butlins, you will know what the Butlins bubble is.
Yep.
It's your safety blanket, and then going out into the real world, and then not knowing how the real world would react to me as being a gay woman. I sort of stepped back a bit.
Yeah.
But then as time has gone on, I'm a lot more comfortable now.
With the males in the office, were they all sort of a similar age, or did they vary? Were they all like, not to assume anyone's culture or anything like that, but were they all, or was it like a varied audience?
There was a bit of a varied audience. I mean, they were all white males. There was no culture difference, so I wasn't scared of how, someone with religious beliefs might react towards me. Age varied. There was a guy that was younger than me, and then there was a guy that was old enough to be my dad, sort of thing.
Okay.
I think I was just scared.
Yeah.
I was just scared to be who I was, but it didn't take me long before I came out as who I was. But it was that initial being put into that situation of a corporate environment that I was like, no flouncy, happy entertainment people.
Yeah, big step anyway, coming from such a great, non-serious, comfortable work, play, eat, fun and whatever, and being yourself, to then going to very serious, we're wearing very serious clothes. We are not dressing up as a penguin. Like it's scary, like you say, 100%.
Very scary. But obviously, as the older I've got, the more I've become more comfortable with who I am, the more comfortable I am with being who I am around new people. Just accept me for who I am, and if you have a problem, it's a you problem.
Absolutely. I can't stress that enough. It's such and do you know, it takes a while to get to that mindset. But definitely. It's such a good mindset to have, like, and sometimes I have to think, is that a me issue, or is that a them issue? And it's finding that, it's working on that, and it's processing that. But it's so, once you've sort of got it down, it doesn't have to be, you can adapt it to different situations as well, like within family, friends, co-workers, people on the street, like, it's whatever you're comfortable with and whatever is happening here. Is it a me issue, them issue? It's a conversation.
It is definitely. Wow.
That
was deep.
That was.
We need some light entertainment.
We need some Vick's Icks.
We do need some Vick's Icks. Go on then, Vick. Hit us. What is your ick this week?
What is my ick for this? Okay, yeah, I've got one.
I'm ready for this.
So I was doing a thing with this girl.
Whoa, hang on. Please, it's PG, yeah?
Oh, okay. Sorry. Doing a thing means not really dating, but with, hanging out.
Oh, okay. It's hip.
Yeah, it's hip. That's ick number one. Anyway, hip. I can't get over that. So I was doing a thing with this girl, very short period of time, and I'm about to tell you why. Yes, sure. And I'm about to tell you why. So, really, really beautiful. She was really pretty. Give her a G. And we were having a chat. We'd be talking like we are, chat, and she'd stop me. Like halfway through, she'd stop herself. She'd go, "Why are you looking at me like that?"
Excuse me, what?
And I was like, the first time it happened, I was like, what? What? What do you mean? And she was like, "Why do you keep looking at me like that? What is it?"
Well, as you were talking to her.
As we were having a conversation like this, my friend.
Yeah.
Right? I'm giving her eye contact because that is good during a conversation. That means I'm listening to you.
Yeah.
Yeah? It's good communication.
Yeah.
She was fishing for a compliment, I'm pretty sure. Like, why are you looking at me like that? What do you want me to say? Because I want to rip your clothes off. Because I'm listening to what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like, it was so irritating. And it happened if any conversation lasted longer than 3 minutes. Why are you looking at me like that? What is it?
Oh dear.
Nothing. You're speaking. So I'm looking. Would you like me to look over there? Like, it was the most, because I just saw arrogant.
Yeah.
Like, you are, I mean, Fet, you are a good looking girl, but please, like,
let's just have a conversation here.
I think I compliment enough. That's, every person's different. I understand that.
I
And
mean, you've complimented me today.
You're very welcome.
Yeah.
I think that's a conversation you
Why
have.
Why are you looking at me like that?
Oh my God, never do that again. Never do that again. But I think, if I'm not complimenting you enough, that's a conversation to have.
Yeah.
At a time,
not when you're just like
having a conversation
doing stuff.
Because she's legit thinking I'm going to be like, the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life. How have I never seen anything like you before? I'm so lucky to have you in my eyesight. What am I going to do? I'm listening to a conversation. Like, there's a time and place. Don't fish for compliments. You're better than that. You're all better than that.
Do you know what? I agree with that one.
Right?
Yeah, I'm with you on this one. Are you with Vic on this one?
Like, if I'm giving you that I want to rip your clothes off eyes, I'm giving you that.
Yeah.
Like, if you're having a conversation about, I don't know, the fact that you took your cat to the vet, like, and then you're going to I'm not giving you I want to rip your clothes off vibes because you've just been talking about how unwell your cat is. Like, there's a time and place. Do you know what I mean? Read the room.
Wow. Yeah, okay. I agree with you on that one.
Yeah.
That is a bit of a ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that's unreasonable. I don't know. You lot tell me. You tell me if, again, I'm being unreasonable. I really feel people fishing for compliments.
Yeah.
Ick. Own yourself. You need to get to a point where if that person isn't giving you compliments and you in yourself aren't feeling it, or you're not feeling wanted or desired or whatever, have that conversation. And if it's still not happening, maybe that person's not for you.
Maybe.
But let's not fish.
No fishing.
Let's not fish.
No fishing.
That's all I have to say on it.
Cool. I think that is it for this week's episode. I hope you enjoyed our coming out stories. I'm sorry if they were so deep.
I mean, it was a touch, but
it was. But
lesbians.
Yeah. And also, we'd like to hear about your coming out stories. Did you have an easy ride? Did you have a tough ride? And if you did, we're sorry to hear that. But we would love to hear your stories. Please do email us at the bgcpod@gmail.com.
Absolutely. And yeah, just tell us how you got through. If it was difficult, how you managed to sort of overcome that, what hurdles you faced. And if it was easy, tell us those. We love to hear an uplifting story as well. It doesn't have to be deep. We're here to embrace.
Was it a complete and utter disaster that is worth a laugh?
Yeah. Can you laugh about it?
Yeah.
Now, absolutely. And I think talking about those is going to help someone. So yeah, share them with us. That'd be
Definitely.
great.
But until next time, I've been Laura.
I've been Vic.
And we'll see you soon. Ciao for now. Bye.